Welcome to the College Football Show presented by AT&T. With just 2 weeks remaining until the college football playoff bracket is released, time is running out for teams to make a final impression on the committee alongside former NFL QB Matt Sims. SportsCenter's very own Skubie Mageza is here as well. I am merely Sam Ravech. YouTube chat, please interact with us as you always do. Always love hearing your thoughts as well as we move along. Even with a relatively lackluster slate today, it didn't leave us kind of wondering, well, maybe if this team had just done a little bit more. I feel like we're starting to gain a little bit more of an understanding of some of these conferences. Yeah. Having said that, the ACC is still a cluster. And we start our 15 minutes of uninterrupted highlights with Georgia Tech and Pitt. Let's take a look. All Georgia Tech needed to do was beat the Pittsburgh Panthers, and they are in the ACC title game.
That's it.
But the Pitt Panthers maybe had some other ideas, especially early on in this one. Mason Heinschel going to step up in the pocket, throw a dart to Kenny Johnson for the touchdown, Maddie. Woo. This was just the beginning.
Man, I love the way this kid plays. I need to see some more of Mason Heinschel going forward.
He's going to find Justin Holmes, and he bowls his way into the end zone. Pitt up 14-0 before you can blink an eye. Georgia Tech going to try to get back in this thing. Haynes King pressured. His pass going to be picked off. Kavir Baines-Marquez with the interception. Pitt would add a touchdown on their next drive to make it 21-0.
Oh, I see the moves. I see the moves in the end zone.
Heinschel in the low red zone, going to call his own number here, Maddie.
Love it. Hey, when you got an athletic quarterback there in the low red zone area, that read option is always going to be a viable play choice for the offensive coordinator.
28-0, but the Jackets will fight back. King finding Isaiah Canyon here in the back of the end zone for the score.
No matter how much Georgia Tech struggles against some of these teams early on, they always seem to claw their way back into the game with that quarterback.
Second half team, right? Third quarter, now Tech going in for a touchdown. King's pass intercepted by Braylan Lovelace, and he's going the distance.
Oh, look at him. I mean, he's really stretching out. We're going to call this not a pick six, a pit six.
Oh, I like
very
that,
good.
Stu. Very good.
Yes,
Wouldn't it be great if we could ask Braylan about that pick?
It would be nice.
Maybe we'll have a special guest join us in just a second. Fourth quarter now, Georgia Tech trying to stay alive. Jamal Haynes going to take the handoff. He goes in for the score. Now Pitt cuts the lead 35-21, so we're thinking, here we go. Next drive for Pitt, 4th and 9. They fake the punt.
Oof.
But we fall back in the backfield there. Pitt turns the ball over on downs. Yep. Jackets trying to take advantage here. King going to step up. He's going to find Canyon for another score. So they would capitalize. Georgia Tech cuts it to 7. Pitt's going to refuse to lose, though. Jakarian Turner taking the handoff. 56 yards to the house. Game, set, match. Pitt with a huge road win. 42-28 the final. We talked about it. We teased it. Let's welcome in the linebacker for the Pitt Panthers, Braylan Lovelace, joining the show right now. Braylan, really appreciate you hopping on with us, pads and all, fresh off the win.
Oh, no doubt. I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, so we're going to get to the pick six in just a second here. I know Maddie's got a question about that. Take me back, though, during the week. You guys coming off the loss to Notre Dame. Coming into this game, you guys knew how big of a moment this was. What was the mental preparation leading up to this trip down to Atlanta for you?
It was just flush last week. Just stay focused on this week that we got ahead of us because, we want to get to ACC championship. So, we got to keep beating these teams in front of us and, just keep taking it week by week and focus on the team ahead of us.
The score is 28-14. It's the 10th play of the drive. It's 3rd and 5. Take us through your role and responsibility on your pick six and ultimately how you came away with that interception in such a clutch moment for you guys.
I dropped back in the pass coverage, sat back in the hook, seen the ball come my way. That's what we do. Sharks make plays and big-time plays, So we're the original Sharks. We make plays, and that's what we do at times like that.
I mean, Braylan, the dope thing about you this season, brother, is you go from playing the outside linebacker position and you move towards the middle position this season. And obviously it was an adjustment for you as a player after having some players, having someone who played that position last year leaving. And as you adjust to this position, you aren't only thriving, you're leading your team in tackles. The interception today was an amazing athletic play, by the way. And Haynes King, just a fun fact, 2 interceptions thrown in this game. He only had 2 in his last 253 passing attempts. All right, so he does not do this often.
Right.
You as a leader having to switch through to that position, how has that adjustment been like? And then your group as a total to be able to force him to throw 2 interceptions. Why? How were you able to do it?
For me personally, any role that I'm in, I just go out there and make plays, do what I do. And then as a defense as a whole, that's what our defense is made to do, is go out there and make big plays. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Randy Bates, that's what he does. He calls great plays. That's what we do. We go out there and make plays for him, and we win games. That's what we do.
Talk to us about your young star, right, at the quarterback position, Mason Heinschel, and how he's played, and what is it like going up against that young cat in practice? And do you do things to Heinschel in practice the way that you made Haynes King look today?
No, he's very focused in practice. We go back and forth, offense and defense. But for a young guy, he's a true leader. When the defense is down, or even when the offense is down, or the team is down, he's the first one to go up there and say what he got to say to get us back on track. He's a true leader for being so young, and he's going to be a great ball player in the rest of his career. I truly believe that.
And listen, man, I got to be completely honest with you. As the last couple of weeks watching your team, to see your coach go up there and essentially say a couple of weeks ago that we could lose by 100 points to Notre Dame. It doesn't matter. What matters is how we play in these ACC games. Now, us as fans watching that, we're thinking, he's not wrong, but why would he say that? Because we're thinking that might affect the locker room. Clearly, it didn't, because you flushed this and performed at a high level. Take me through the locker room. What was your reaction to what he said? And how was your preparation for this week in terms of just flushing out what happened against Notre Dame?
Like I said earlier, just focus on what we have ahead of us, not worried about what's in the past, because what's in the past is the past. You can't change it. All we can worry about is what's in the future and, what's going to change our season for the better.
Braylan, you guys got a big week coming up as well. You'll take on Miami, a team that is trying to make their way into the college football playoff, similarly to how you guys are. What are your plans this week for Thanksgiving? And also, what are your plans next Saturday against Miami?
My plans for this week for Thanksgiving, obviously I got to go see my family on Thanksgiving. But, we got bigger challenges ahead. We got to focus on Miami. We got to get it done. On Saturday, that's what we got to do. We got to get it done if we want to get to the ACC. And, what we've been breaking it down all season long, the ACC championship, we got to go out there and handle business on Saturday.
Hey, Braylan, really, really appreciate you joining us after the win. Enjoy it. Enjoy the Thanksgiving week. We'll be watching the rest of the way, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's get moving here to the Big Ten. USC, Oregon, starting this one with the score tied at 7. Dante Moore connects with Kenyon Sadiq. Ducks take a 14-7 lead. USC looking to answer. And they dial up a double pass as Mekhi Lemon tosses to Nuke Hines, who mosses the defender for 6. All right, later in the second, USC punting. But Malik Benson says, just like Michael Jackson, when you need me, I'll be there. Taking it 85 yards to the crib, Oregon would take a 28-14 lead into the half. And this was a back-and-forth game, guys, but as you see on the bottom, the penalties were significant.
This was a penalty fest through first half. By the way, Malik Benson has a different kind of speed.
He absolutely does.
That was crazy.
All right, let's move over to the third quarter. Trojans have the ball. Jaden Maeva. When life gives you lemons, use them. And hit Mekhi Lemon, his third touchdown of the game. USC makes it a one-score game. Ducks attempt to rebuild the gap. Moore hits Sadiq again over the middle. This guy's a beast. All right, after the Trojans touchdown, Ducks have the ball. Noah Whittington. You do not want to tackle him when he is running. 9-yard touchdown. That pretty much iced it. Oregon will go on to win the game 42-27. Turned into a little bit of a shootout there, but big win for Oregon. And I think, Matt, they showed us who they are.
They definitely did, and just you saw it in all three phases, right? Offense came up clutch in big-time situations. The offensive line blocked well for Whittington. Defense made some big-time stops and turnovers. And then, of course, Benson and the special teams touchdown.
We're going to talk a lot more about this game, the implications of said game, in just a little bit later on, so stick around for that. In the meantime, conference championship race in the Big Ten, a little bit clearer. Maybe the opposite is true for the Big 12. Massive conference implications on the line between Utah and Kansas State. Guys, this game was pretty much drunk the entire time. I mean, it was just a running fest with the scores every which way you look. Joe Jackson running it all the way down the field, 66 yards for the score. Wildcats would take a lead 21-14. Jackson would have a career day in this one for the Cats. Devon Dampier takes it in himself on the other end. Dampier for an 8-yard score to tie it up 21-all. Was just back and forth the entire day. We mentioned him, Joe Jackson. If you thought 66 yards was impressive, how about 80? Kansas State. This was like a 500-yard rushing day. It was a program record.
I thought Utah had a good defense. And then this guy did this today. It was unbelievable.
Think so, right? That's supposed to be their identity, but no.
Just shows you how special that performance was.
No question about it. Let's go to the third. Quarterback wide receiver connection, Dampier to Dallin Bentley for a 38-yard score. When Dampier can do this, along with running the ball, Maddie, this is a different Utah team.
It absolutely is, and I just love that play concept, too, taking advantage of the safety corner in that situation.
And then Bird Ficklin as well. They've kind of got a little bit of a duo here. Ficklin on the ground. He scored 3 times today for Utah. Kansas State is going to say not so fast, though, down by 4. Avery Johnson to tight end Garrett Oakley for a 2-yard score.
At the backfield versus man coverage, they lose sight of him.
We go to the fourth. If you thought the scoring was done, you thought wrong. Devon Dampier is going to cough it up, though, on this turnover. Hit by VJ Payne. Ball is loose, recovered by, get this, Cody Stufflebean. All name team.
I was going to say, I love that name.
Him and Atticus. Let's go.
Got a good one. Joe Jackson is loose once again. 24-yard score. He set the new Kansas State record for a single game yardage, 293, breaking Darren Sproles' record.
Yeah.
Utah not giving up. Dampier knows he needs to score, and he does. Back shoulder to Larry Simmons.
Call the handoff, Sam.
I mean, he was clutch, and he was especially clutch in this situation. 4th and 1, gotta have it. We're going to the crib.
This was the turning point of the game. I mean, this was the play of the game. The game was over, and Dampier takes off 59 yards down to the 1, and then he's going to pay it off here. Utes scored 14 points in like the final minute and a half of this game.
Yeah, in the final 3 minutes, erase a 10-point deficit and rips out the hearts of all Wildcat fans. Because now they got to throw the ball, which they haven't done well the entire game.
Lander Barton is going to pick off this pass from Avery Johnson. That would do it. Offense goes crazy afterwards. Dampier spoke about the win.
Man, man, we battled all game. Adversity definitely hit us. It's probably the most we've ever had it. And I love the way we responded. We fought to the end, and man, just for Lander on senior night to clinch that moment like that, a huge moment for him, but a huge moment for these seniors to go out with a W at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
All right, so Utah needs some help if they want to make it to the Big 12 title game. They would need Cincinnati to win out. Right now, Cincinnati is losing to BYU 26-14. The game's almost over there. So they're not going to get the help there. But still, this conference is going to be chaotic. We'll talk more about that. Impressive day for Dampier. Really impressive day for Joe Jackson. 293 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground on 24 rushes. I think they averaged a first down every time they handed the ball off today. Crazy stuff.
You couldn't give him the ball enough. All right, you talk about teams trying to make an impression. How about Vanderbilt? They took on Kentucky. And in this game, we picked things up in the second. Vanderbilt already up 3-0. Diego Pavia hitting Trey Richardson on a rope, full speed, 71-yard touchdown. Vanderbilt goes up 10-0. What a ball. And, of course, Diego Pavia's mom gets a little cameo here. All right, Vandy up 14 now. Pavia looking deep, finds Richardson again. They were playing Madden on rookie mode.
They were. Right? All right, game at home. Drink every time you see Pavia's mom, all right?
Okay,
good luck.
You might need to pick up your drink right now because Pavia finds Richie Hoskins, who makes another incredible grab See,
Yeah, good
For
luck.
Heisman, she's
Good luck.
repping. She's
Yeah,
repping.
the other game was drunk. All right.
I know. There was scoring left and right tonight.
45-17. Pavia goes for over 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 total. And after the game, he mentioned how he's the best player in the entire country. And it's hard to not consider him as a player that should be at least invited to New York. But they got one more chance against Tennessee to improve the committee and improve people who
Just
vote for Heisman.
think about the context. Like, yes, this is Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
This is a program that historically has struggled on the football field. He's brought them to new heights, and they are still very much in the playoff.
If they had a different logo on their helmet, would they be considered as a higher ranked team? I mean,
It's a fair
this
question.
was an incredible performance.
It's a fair question.
It is, yeah. All right, let's change gears now. Missouri versus Oklahoma.
This was not a high-scoring game.
We're starting up in the second quarter. No, it was not. Mizzou is up 3-0 in this football game to start this one. Missouri's going to line up for a field goal here early in the game, and it's blocked. Man,
special
Peyton
team.
Bowen with the blocked field goal here early in the football game, and this was huge, right? Missouri was playing good football, moving the football up and down the field early on to start the game. Peyton Bowen with that block to get it started here, and now Mateer off of that blocked field goal. A few plays later finds Satania on the little angle route there. And you could just see he turns on the burners. This is a good defense here by Missouri, and he outruns everybody for the longest play of Oklahoma's offense this season with the 87-yarder. So that's impressive. Now we go 3rd and 10. Mateer rushes 15 yards, just doing Mateer things, just throwing his body around.
That's right.
1st and goal, Mateer. Giovanni Gibson. All right, fake the little RPO, find that little slant in the back of the end zone. Good throw away from the defender. One-on-one, they're going to win that all the time. Later in the football game, in the 4th quarter, Perbula just trying to make something happen with 41 seconds left. He's going to scramble to his left, try to create something. Man, interception. Eli Bowen sealing the football game with that interception. And that's the story, man. Oklahoma wins this football game 17-6. And it's the defense again, the star of the show. You saw the Mateer Satania play. That was really about it on the offense side of the football. It's all about Venables, this defense. Taylor Wine having a big game again. Kip Lewis again coming up clutch. We saw Bowen. We saw Peyton, man. This team getting it done the hard way.
And still without our Mason Thomas.
That's right.
All right.
Still without their star edge rusher, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Taylor Wine played incredible football once again. To your point, Matt, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, a quarterback hurry, and a forced fumble. FBS high, 5 wins against ranked opponents this season for Oklahoma. Boomer!
Sooner!
Yeah, that's
I can't
what
believe I
people-
just did
yeah,
that.
it's-
6 if you're including when they played Michigan
That's
and they
correct.
were ranked.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
so
so that's
yeah.
from the people in the group chat. But hey, they just gained 276 total yards on offense. That continues to be a problem for me. Wasn't flashy, but they get the job done. That's
right.
Another highlight from you.
Oh my God, look
you're
at me.
going
I'm,
back to back,
I'm
buddy.
doubling up.
That's right.
You guys made a mistake giving me these highlights. Arkansas Razorbacks taking on number 17 Texas at Derek Haley Royal Stadium. There's Taylor Green. I think he's a phenomenal football player. But here we go. First quarter.
agreed.
Trickery.
Arch Manning. No, it's not Arch. They did a little switcheroo there. Parker Livingston finds
So now
Arch
he's
Manning.
catching touchdowns
And look at
too.
Arch Manning climbing.
Arch Manning for Heisman.
There you go.
I'm
Yep.
trying to play the.
He's doing the algorithm thing. Here's Manning, finds Livingston again wide open for a 54-yard touchdown. That's just Arkansas's defense all year, and that's what it looks like in the secondary. But hey, Arch found him and made it work. Taylor Green here, rushing for a 4-yard touchdown. Taylor Green played well, got banged up late in this football game. Mike Washington played really well for the Met running back today. He was phenomenal out of the backfield. But it was all Arch. It was all Texas. And here's Arch calling his own number.
Yeah,
you see a little
Arch Manning,
sidestep
man.
there. A little quick on the feet there. But Texas in control of this football game, 52-37. And I guess that's the thing, too. Like, Texas, good win for them. Arch, best performance of the year.
Yeah.
Arkansas's defense is, it's doo-doo. Let's call a spade a spade.
If they had any semblance of a defense this year, they're a competitive team in the SEC with that.
Oh man, every game has been a struggle, and even in this one too. I mean, it was a shootout. It was a little dicey there for a minute, and you could see if Texas would have made a mistake here or there, they would have made it a little bit more of an opportunity for Arkansas to get in it. But good win for them. They keep their playoff hopes alive.
I mean, six total touchdowns, really impressive. He becomes the first Texas quarterback with a passing, a running, and receiving touchdown in a game. You like to see that from him. Steve Sarkisian said after the game, the best way we can impress anybody is going and winning next Friday. He has told his team that we still have a chance. They're playing like it, and they want to believe. But I don't know if a win next week will necessarily help them. But a win for this team, Sam, did help them.
Yeah, Miami Hurricanes, they were in the bracket. Yeah. We'll call it a placeholder the last week. ACC Championship is not really in play, but we'll see. Depending on some of the chaos today, if Miami keeps winning, who knows? Early in the first, Beck with a great pass over the middle to Elijah Lofton, who scores the touchdown. Lofton's second straight game with a touchdown after not scoring in the first 9 games. Miami up 7-0. And then Miami with the ball again after a Hokies field goal. This time Beck hits Mark Fletcher Jr. in the flat. And the Hurricanes would end up taking a 20-3 lead into the half after a pair of field goals. This thing would get a little bit interesting, though, in the second half. Heading into the third, Jeffrey Overton Jr. burst through the hole. Virginia Tech, they ran it on this Miami team today. And this is a Miami defense that historically has not really let folks run it on him. So that was interesting there. More rush yards on that touchdown than he had all season for Overton. Hurricanes looking to answer back. Gerard Pringle Jr. back of the end zone. Miami would win this one 34-17. Score a little bit deceiving there. Miami scored kind of late to tack on some extra points on the game. But
Mario said after the game, they're like, oh, were you trying to do that to impress the committee? He just said, listen, if you're going to stack the box and go one-on-one against us, we're going to go over the top and take a shot. Don't disrespect us, all right? I respect it. This was impress the committee week.
And yes, they did
Miami
do it
tried
for the
to do that.
committee.
Yeah,
and
there's no question. We'll find out if it's working. But this game and games ahead with Miami going to Pitt next weekend. Playoff implications there. Speaking of games with playoff implications, time now for Guarantee of the Game, presented by AT&T. Massive playoff stakes on the line in Eugene, Oregon today. And with the win, Oregon improves their playoff chances to over 90%, while USC and Lincoln Riley see their chances dwindle to less than 1% now with 3 losses on the year. Let's start on the winning side of this things, guys, and then we'll deal with Lincoln Riley in just a second in USC. As much as we try to complicate this game, the equation for success is very foundational. Teams that can run the ball and teams that can stop the run generally win over teams that cannot do that, right?
Right.
And that was never more evident than in this game today, Maddie. Did today's result alter how you view Oregon as it pertains to their chances to make some noise in the college football playoff this year?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. And this is something that, Skubie and us, we were all talking about it, right? As we're preparing for this show. We just think that Iowa game in particular for this Oregon football team was just like a huge step forward for them. For Will Stein, for Dan Lanning, for Noah Whittington, that offensive line, and just that physical presence that they had. And that's a word that we kind of kept using, right? Yeah. It's just like this team continues to get just more physical, right? They're, as Kirby Smart would say, they're adding physicality to the way that they play. And of course, hey, with Dan Lanning, it was only a matter of time. And now this young football team finally kind of finding their way through this. And Dante Moore playing tougher, there's no doubt about it. Knowing Whittington, Kenyon Sadiq and him being back.
He's on a tear, man.
I mean, I know he's a tight end. I don't know what the hell he is. He's just a really good football player because when he runs routes, it doesn't look like a tight end. Jordan Davison also ran extremely effective today. But Kenyon Sadiq being healthy with those running back tandems and just how Will Stein's calling plays right now, very impressive for Oregon. They are absolutely getting tougher and tougher each week with this young team.
Yeah, it was a great performance from Oregon, and I'm going to jump on your point right there because the physicality of this team was clear and evident. The way that they were able to enforce their will. Noah Whittington was running the ball hard. Yep. There were a couple of runs that he had that would have me on the defensive end thinking twice about trying to tackle him the next time because he's really that physical. He was punishing people for trying to tackle him. I mean, they did it at all 3 phases of the game with the way that they played. And then Malik Benson, the 85-yard punt return, huge. Yeah. And then not only that, he was able to add in the passing game 4 catches for 67 yards as well. I think for this Oregon team, they performed at a very high level in this game, and they were in trouble a couple of times with their turnovers, and I look over to their penalties as well. So they had a lot of forced errors that they could have prevented themselves, and the turning the ball over on fumbling snaps and all those different things. This is a young football team, and I think they showed us toughness, but these are the things that I worry for them if they go into the college football playoff. Matt, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of flags.
This was very accurate.
It feels like they're 1 year away from being there with the Tier 1 elites.
Scooby,
they just
totally
need to clean
agree.
some things up.
Totally agree with you. I think this is a young football team that Dan Lanning's got to be pumped about and knows that next year might be the real year that they can all put it together, right, and really make a deep run into it. Now, not to say that that can't happen this year, but I would think that the matchups have to be a little bit more on their favorable side for them. The other aspect, too, just Bryce Betcher, right?
Yes.
Just finishing the season off, senior day, getting that 1-yard touchdown run there in that wildcat situation. So I thought that was an awesome moment for this football team. Mateo Uiagalelei played another phenomenal game at the defensive end, defensive tackle position. He does a little of everything. Forced a fumble today, had some sacks as well, very disruptive in the backfield. And I think overall for this team, right, you're just seeing Dante Moore start to, I feel, just get a little bit more comfortable with the way that he plays, right? Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing for them too, right? He still, to me, is kind of playing that like, I'm the young guy, I'm not really, and now it's like, all right, dude, you're the guy. It's your team.
Right.
Take over and control the football team. I feel like he's still kind of like, yeah, I'm just, I'm a good soldier and all. No, you're the lieutenant commander of this team. Take over on the offensive side.
And not only that, they had a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Dante Moore is missing 2 of his best wide receivers. He's missing DeCoria Moore and he's missing Gary Bryant Jr.
Right.
And then they had 3 backup offensive linemen playing for him and blocking for him. And they were still able to protect him well in that game. So you have all these things going against you for Oregon, and you're still able to be in a shootout, put up 42 points against this USC team, be more physical, force the turnovers on defense, get some plays in the special teams. All around, it just showed me that they're tough.
Yeah.
I think USC is a team that has a little bit more talent on their offensive side of the ball just because they got some dudes at the wide receiver position.
Yes,
Mayava is that guy, and they have a great play caller. But Oregon was just a more physical football team, and sometimes that matters more. That's how football is.
By the way, I know we saw that they have a better than 90% chance to make the college football playoff. They play Washington next week. Washington doesn't lose a lot of games at home, by the way, so let's not overlook that game, and we would see what happens with the 10-2 Oregon team. The playoff hopes for Lincoln Riley and USC likely are non-existent now. It's a long flight back home for Lincoln Riley. You see here 6 consecutive losses against AP top 10 ranked teams. Might get some shade from the Trojan faithful here, guys, but USC perceives itself as one of the game's top brands when, really, when was the last time that Lincoln Riley has had a program-defining win as the head coach at USC? Maybe it was back in 2022 when they would have made the playoff if it had been 12 teams in that year. It just seems like they are close, and they're better this year. There's no question about it.
They made some improvements.
But it still feels like there's a bit of separation between a Lincoln Riley and USC and even a Dan Lanning or a Kirby Smart or Ryan Day. What is that difference, Maddie, if you could pinpoint it?
I think I'm going to go more towards the defensive side of the football for this team at the moment. Now,
there's a problem.
D'Anton Lynn, he's absolutely done a phenomenal job, right? The improvements from last year to this year are noticeable, but you still see that they're lacking just overall depth and size, right? And physicality, especially in the trenches. And I think that's why Oregon continued to lean into their running attack. Now, on the other side of it, the offense is built and ready to go. I think Jaden Mayava, very similar to Dante Moore, just more experience, more just being comfortable as the leader of the football team. But you got guys like Mekhi Lemon, who might be one of the best receivers in the country this year. Jacoby Lane played phenomenal. Tanook Hines had a really good day today for them on the offense. King Miller struggled today, but has had a good season. So they got the offense set. Even guys like Zachariah Branch and Deuce Robinson, guys that are playing for other teams right now. So they know how to recruit the offensive side. I think it's only a matter of time before they start to get some more dudes on the defensive side.
Yeah, and if they beat UCLA next week, they would get back to 10 wins. And that would be consecutive season that they've been able to do that. And remember, they were 7-6, right? So, excuse me, they're not consecutive 10-win seasons, but they're getting to 10-win seasons after they were 7-6 last year.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say. And then if this was 2022, You think back to their record, they were 11-1. They would have made the college football playoff.
Yeah,
so I say that all to say this, that Lincoln Riley, yes, you are a part of a team that should be regarded higher in the college football world, but it hasn't been all bad when you consider where USC was before. I think expectations are continuing to rise, and you're asking the question when, if not now, and they continue to just get close. But if you're a USC fan, is this good enough for you, or is it not?
Well, and just like one last thought on this, too. Let's remind ourselves, too, that when Lincoln Riley took the USC job, he took the USC job thinking that it's USC in the Pac-12. And I do think there has been an adjustment as far as just the guys that they're recruiting, the style in which they play consistently on a week-in, week-out basis in the Big Ten. And that's why I feel like the defense is not quite up to that Big Ten standard yet as far as the physical aspect of it, like you're talking about with Oregon. So I think we're getting there now for him to reshape that football team that actually fits the conference they're currently found in.
I could politely push back and say Dan Lanning had kind of the same situation, though, right?
Totally
At Oregon.
agree.
And he's been able to get that physicality.
Two different schools of thought, though. Dan Lanning didn't come from that school of thought that Lincoln Riley came from, right? He came from an SEC mindset. He was building his program out there to be that way. So I would say just a different way of philosophy football-wise for Lincoln to adjust
Brought
to.
that SEC over to the Big Ten.
It's a great point. By the way, USC fans, I got a nugget you're not going to like. Through the first 51 games, Lincoln Riley has the exact same record as Clay Helton. So we'll leave it at that.
Wow.
Leave it at that.
You really made that like a mic drop moment right there. That was
I did.
Cool, man.
Sorry, USC fans. Lots of great action on the gridiron today. Let's give a shout out to a couple of the great plays. Yale hosting Harvard annual rivalry game. Dante Reno to Nico Brown. Stumbles, regains his balance, and scores 54 yards. Yale handed the Crimson their first loss of the season today. Final score from this one, 45-28.
All right, let's head over to JMU, Washington State. JMU trying to stay alive for the Group of 5 bid. And this is how you do it. Give me that. We're going to the crib like everybody does during Thanksgiving. Justin Eaglin with the pick 6. The bad throw by the quarterback. Should have known better. JMU playoff team.
Yo, this guy right here, Malachi Tony. Yo, Tony, one-on-one. Hey, Scooby, what? Give me that.
Oh, what a catch.
That's a boy, Scooby, just
there
for
he
a
is.
time. That's where I needed you. All right, and hey, Malachi Tony, is he not maybe the best freshman in the country right now?
Literally.
This guy is just so dynamic.
Tony
on the
bag
outside.
of donuts, Matty. Let's give some
Attaboy.
love to some FCS teams, Dayton and Davidson. We got a lineman score. Matthew Barnes catches the throwback
You know we
screen,
call that, Sam.
walks it in for a 2-point conversion.
That's
Too many pumps.
That would have gotten you fined for each pump in the NFL. 6'6", we appreciate. Get the big man in the end zone. He knows how to celebrate, that's for sure. If you don't get in there that often, you might as well. It's so good.
That is awesome.
All right, Kentucky visiting Vanderbilt. Pavia hitting Trey Richardson. Check out the speed. Yeah,
right.
he got a need for speed. Huge touchdown, 71-yarder. I mean, Pavia was just on the money in this game. Threw for over 400 yards. Said he thinks he's the best player in the entire country. But when you got your wide receivers running in open space like this, it's like target practice all day.
Jacksonville State visiting FIU, and the Panthers are knocking on the back door.
Oh,
Traquan Vegan.
oh, what a catch!
Oh, it's a double for Scoob here in the highlight. Traquan
This one
Vegan.
deserves it better.
What a play. What a catch. One hand. That's all he needs.
All right, Jax.
All right, this is probably one of my favorite top plays. Division II postseason. Benedict College erased a 24 deficit, and they have a chance to win it. Jackson Jensen throws a pass to Simmons, who played quarterback, by the way, last year.
Look at the throw.
They're in prevent, but Simmons ends up tossing it perfectly back to Malik Mullins, and he takes it back for the 86-yard touchdown. I mean, a little pitchy woo-woo. That's what we like to call it, right towards the end of the game, but just an incredible play design as Benedict defeats Wingate 25-24 as they get their first ever playoff win in school history.
That play doesn't even work in practice, and they got it to work in a game.
That was some of the best of the week. How about some of the not so best? And we start with Florida State. How great is this? NC State, late in the game, had a chance to come back until this happens. The punt bounces off the helmet of an FSU player, recovered by the Pack, and then it happens again. This time the punt's going to bounce off the face of an FSU player. It just kind of sums up the season down there in Tallytown for the Noles.
It's brutal, man.
I mean, that first bounce was ridiculous.
It's tough, man.
All right, Vanderbilt, the Commodore, he's going to flip his ATV over here.
Safe.
Like it.
Listen, sometimes you do too much trying to show off for the people, and you forget your safety measures and how you were trained to ride an ATV.
I like the bounce back.
Thankfully, he was okay. He's in a big-ass suit. So
I mean, the big turn there, come on, man. I mean, understand the turn radius there. Brett Eccleston, excuse me, right, for Iowa State, hitting the worst gritty I've ever. It's not even he's just jogging.
Yeah, no, that's the Mike Gesicki gritty.
That's worse.
Yeah, Gesicki.
Who would have thought that Gesicki would have been Gesicki'd even worse?
All right, time now for the playbook presented by Modelo, Maddie. As much as people don't like it, Vanderbilt and Texas are kind of proof that the strength of the SEC is the real deal. Look, these two quarterbacks, Arch Manning, Diego Pavia, drastically different personalities, but they do kind of some of the same things. Let's break down their game film from today. We'll start with Pavia and the beatdown against Kentucky.
Yeah, and both quarterbacks just coming up clutch when their teams needed to keep their playoff hopes alive. Here we have a three-man front by the UK defense. We're going to send pressure, right? That's what Stoop does. He wants to get after the passer. He wants to be aggressive. So they're going to end up with a six-man pressure, right? All of these people are going to be blitzing. Real simple for Diego Pavia, right? We got that one-on-one go-round the bottom of the screen right here. It didn't even work. All right, we're going to get a short motion here. We're going to get an in-cut, right, and a through route. So for Diego, after this flash fake, he's going to make a nice flash fake. 1, 2, 3. Hold that middle safety. If there is a middle safety, you're going to see how flat-footed they are. And he's going to take that one-on-one shot to the outside. And this is the thing, right? UK, right, the defense, since they're sending 6, they expect the ball to come out soon. Vanderbilt does a great job of sorting through it with their 6-man protection scheme, 7-man with the tight end, and then Diego Pavia. I mean, look at the rhythm of the throw in stride right there to Trey Richardson. Phenomenal pitch and catch. This is the best one, though, right here. Little token fake right here at the line of scrimmage. You see him holding the middle of the field. He knows that he's going there to the outside. And this is what I love about Trey Richardson and his route. Did a great job. Right, Sam, come here a little closer. He did a great job attacking that inside hip, that inside foot area. As soon as that defender started to turn, right through off the back hip for that touchdown there on the sideline there. So that was just phenomenal technique on a very basic concept there for the Commodores.
Confidence never a problem with Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
We saw that in his post-game presser today.
He's
but
awesome.
He set the new program record for pass yards, 484 on the day today, 5 total touchdowns. His guy Trey Richardson, they connected for 3. This was another one.
Yeah, I mean, Trey was the man today. And this is what we're going to see here. Just a simple orbit motion here before the snap. We're going to get this guy moving. They're going to blitz a man off the edge. And then we're going to get just MDM blocking. What does that mean, Sam? Most dangerous man, right? So you're just blocking the guy that comes to that area and is the most dangerous person to get the ball carrier down. So we send the guy in motion, right? We're playing soft on the outside. We get the pressure off the slot here right at the snap. A little quick flash fake. Now it's all about Diego Pavia. Throw the ball in rhythm right down the line here. So Trey Richardson catches it, has a full head of steam. You see the blocking out in front. MDM on the outside, and then it's just a speed race to the front pylon. But that was phenomenal execution, and I love the touchdown celebration after it. But here we go again, right? Good flash fake, ball in rhythm, great blocking on the outside, great job getting the hands inside. Really good execution there by Vanderbilt blocking on the outside. And I love it, too, when receivers take pride in blocking for the other guys on the team.
Diego Pavia, the first SEC quarterback to throw for over 450 yards and 4 touchdowns since Jackson Dart did so last year against Arkansas. Speaking of Arkansas, their porous defense was on display once again today, and it was Arch Manning this time that was carving them up.
It was, and this is a concept, too, that we're going to see a lot from Sark, from Arch, and what they do, right? They love the fake receiver screen, hit the hole shot. So at the snap, right, they're going to fake this receiver screen. We're going to get the tight end running down the sideline here, and we're basically attacking, right, the defense, excuse me, right, in this lane right here. So we're trying to attack that hole shot. They call it the turkey shot, right? And now the key is this. At the snap, as soon as we get that pump and that action, the safety starts flying over there. Now, this is the great aspect of it. They send a pressure, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Arkansas defenders near the line of scrimmage. You can see they're already breaking, right, the pocket. We didn't see this type of composure and pocket movement and strength earlier in the season from March.
Right.
This is where we're seeing the growth and maturity of just going through those tough times early. Look, tight end fell down. He's not open anymore. I love that he moves up, sheds that tackle off, and then is able to find DeAndre Moore deep down the field after that safety overplays it. When we show you the end zone view here, you're going to see exactly what Arch saw. So he fakes that pump fake. He's looking for this hole shot right here. He wants the tight end to be right here in this area of the field so he can rip it aggressively before the safety gets there. He sees that he falls down. Simultaneously, he's shedding someone off. Look at the safety sprinting over here to play on that go route by the tight end. But as he moves up, he sees that lineup perfect there over the top of that safety. Great step and turn while being hit, right? Fantastic throw right there to start the football game.
Big Bro was a pretty good quarterback there at Texas, Maddie, although Arch Manning became the first to have a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown
Big Bro
in program
did not do
history.
that.
No, he did not.
Do that.
You talk about the improvement of Arch, and I got to imagine that part of it is just having more game experience, right? That's got to play a huge factor.
Of course, and the surrounding cast improving as well,
That's
too.
a good point.
And also, just the fact that Arkansas's defense is not very good. So that's another aspect.
Porous,
yes. That's a much better way of saying it.
Yeah.
This is like an old school concept that you're going to see on Sunday all the time, right? Coach Sarkisian, right, he got this inspiration from Matt Ryan and Kyle Shanahan when he was there in Atlanta. And basically all it is just a full field progression, right? You can high-low the corner over here on the corner or the flat or the out route right there, or you can work this double post concept to the field. And now when we get this rep, it's a beautiful play because at first, as Arch goes through his read, great job covering the boundary here. There's nowhere to go. Right. Arch, quick reset, probably could hit this one right here underneath, right? But decides it's a three-man rush. Let me just go into baller mode, right? And this is where the confidence of his athleticism and just the awareness of the situation really showed, right? So he creates separation from the line of scrimmage. He gets the Arkansas defensive front all out of whack. Look at all the space now he creates as he moves up in the pocket, the athleticism, and then a good strong throw to the back of the end zone. Now, this is where we're going to see again, right? The growth of Arch. Eventually, this is how it's going to be for him and Sark. He's going to go 1-2, not there, I don't like it, and he eventually is going to rip this post for a touchdown.
Right.
But we're still seeing signs of growth. He does a great job of just not reacting too quickly, right, and trying to throw the football aggressively. He's playing ball. He has a three-man rush, creates space for himself, and then a good throw on the run there, and the Arkansas defender just out of reach to make the play at the end.
One of these quarterbacks will be maybe on the 40 acres next year. The other one likely not going to be in college. I can actually guarantee it won't be in college. Diego Pavia is out of eligibility here.
That's right.
All right, that was the playbook presented by Modelo. Great
Appreciate
stuff, Maddie.
Thank you.
Continuing on in the SEC, there are 4 potential matchups for the SEC title game. We will not know who will be playing in Atlanta until everything wraps up next weekend. The most likely scenario, as of right now, believe it or not, Alabama and Georgia. But, Scoob, you brought this up on our rankings reaction show last Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you. Alabama dropped 6 spots in the most recent rankings, right down to the 10th spot from 4, picking up their second loss. Now, the hypothetical has been out there. If they make it to the SEC title game and then lose, they now have 3 losses. So what's the incentive for Alabama to put that record on the line in the SEC title game?
The incentive would be that Alabama would be the highest ranked SEC team and end up getting a bye the first week of the college football playoff. Now, I know other people are looking at the situation saying, well, that's if they win the game. Okay, if they lose the game, now we can talk about, will Alabama end up being left out? That's a great question to ask. I personally don't think so because we have already seen before, albeit it may be a different committee, that SMU, when they lost in their conference championship game, they were not punished for it. I don't think teams should be punished for playing in the conference championship game, but it does get a little bit tricky when you consider BYU winning the Big 12 championship, and then if Alabama's at that 10th spot, the 10th spot for the college football playoff is the one that's a little bit vulnerable because you could get a conference champion coming in there to take your spot. But for Alabama, Sam, the incentive is to be the top seed in the SEC.
Right.
I mean, listen, man, if they get to the SEC championship game and they lose, I mean, I guess one thing is, how do they lose?
They get blown out.
If they get blown out, maybe that raises a different type of question going forward.
They don't get blown out much, though.
They don't get blown out very much, and I don't expect them to. I think the defense is playing good football. Of course, Ty Simpson, right? I don't expect to see an Oklahoma-like defense every single week going forward. Now, there's some tough matchups going forward, but that's where I think just the whole situation with the committee and putting Notre Dame one spot ahead of Alabama makes this whole thing interesting, because Alabama, if they were to lose in the SEC championship game, Notre Dame's automatically in. Alabama is automatically in. Like, that's where I think it just gets a little hairy when you have just think about those two teams, and then the implications of Miami on top of that, which we'll get to later.
Here's a rebuttal from everybody who hears the Alabama should be in, and it's a rebuttal from Ravech in the chat, Ravech P. He said, but Alabama lost to Florida State. That's right. Florida State loss is one that continues to be brought up in any single discussion, Sam, when you try and make a case for Alabama.
There's no argument against it. It's one of the worst losses of any team that's in the college football playoff right now on the entire season. There's no, sneaking around that. So I think that's obviously one of the reasons why the committee dropped them so low. But you go back, the 5 conference champions that made the college football playoff last year all lost in their first game as well. Now, I know the seeding is different this year, which should play a role in that as well. But for the SEC, the conference that originated the SEC title game and conference championships all the way back in 1992, it'll be interesting to see how this thing goes forward. And on Selection Sundays, say Alabama loses, they pick up their 3rd loss. How does the committee deal with that? Again, you mentioned it, Scoob. This is a different committee than last year. SMU was a 2-loss team as well. Alabama would be a 3-loss team. We have never seen that come to fruition in the
and just real quick before we move on, because I know this is a hot topic as well for people who are watching the college football playoff rankings. That group of 5 team, to get that playoff spot, and Nick Saban said this, if you're not within the top 15 or like the shouting distance, I don't think it's fair for you to be able to get that last playoff spot when you're going to have a 2 or 3 loss SEC team, whatever that may be, that's going to be left out for a team that's ranked outside the top 15 because they're a group of 5 champion.
A lot still to be worked out there. And again, we'll have our rankings reaction show on Tuesday around 8 o'clock right here on the ESPN College Football YouTube page as well. All right, Alabama, talk of the town, sure, but everything is all leading to the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes in Florida. Man, would they love to have them. They lose to your Tennessee Volunteers, Matty, today, 31-11. This was a blowout from the jump, by the way.
A win in the swamp, too, for Tennessee.
That's right.
Atta boy. That's what I'm talking about. The Vols, we're back.
They're back. It wasn't long ago that Lane Kiffin was a coach that had a shady past that many athletic directors didn't really believe was worth the leap. Ole Miss did. They took a leap on Lane Kiffin. I think that's important to remember because he does have kind of that shady past, and there wasn't a lot of teams that were willing to give him that opportunity. Now, he was the hottest, commodity in a crazy coaching carousel this year, but he has led Ole Miss to a 10-1 record and an Egg Bowl win away from a likely spot in the college football playoff. Scoob, it's a simple question. Does Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss, or does he go?
I think he stays at Ole Miss. And I may sound crazy saying this because I know that Lane Kiffin had family members on separate days flying over to Florida and flying over to LSU to go and visit and see how things are.
Just family vacations.
Yeah. But you have everything you want at Ole Miss. I don't understand why you would leave a program that you've already built to become a contender in the college football playoff and for a national championship to say, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else to win a championship, because you think you're going to be able to do that at Florida? I mean, money has completely changed the playing field in terms of how things are evened out on the playing field for programs trying to recruit. So I think he stays. He's already built something at Ole Miss. Maybe this is him finding a way to get the best bid, because LSU has already lined up apparently a contract to make him the highest paid college football coach in the country. But Ole Miss is prepared to do that as well. So I know his dad coached the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has some ties towards Florida, but do you really leave something nice for something better when you already have something nice? Why fix what's not broken?
In theory, better. You don't really know.
That's right. And what's interesting, too, is that all the other opportunities that other coaches had to leave and go to someplace else, all that stuff got cleared up in no time. In this case, it's not the situation. And of course, that's the enigma of Lane Kiffin. That's why he is so interesting, right? That's why it is a dumpster fire. You just can't take your eyes off of it. And I think for Lane Kiffin, there's that he likes falling in love. He likes being wooed. He likes the drama and the aspect of it, right? He doesn't want to build a long-lasting relationship and work through a lot of different things for an extended period of time. No, I want to fall in love again. And that's what's happening here for the LSU and the Florida situation. It's just like first love all over again for him. He's rewritten the narrative of who he was. Ole Miss gave him that opportunity, and I say he's out of there. I say he's like, I've done what I needed to do for you, Ole Miss. You guys are back on top. We might win a championship. We might not. We're going to have fun doing it, but I think I'm going to take my talents elsewhere. Now, and I think that's what Lane Kiffin's going to do this offseason.
Now, for everyone watching, Matt has a very unique perspective in terms of Lane Kiffin saying that he's done. All right, he's putting the book over his head for a reason because Matt was at Tennessee, one of the places that Lane Kiffin ended up leaving after one season.
One of the many places that he ended up leaving. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Yes. Now, take us through that time in your playing career where Lane Kiffin is in rumors or whatever that may be, and all of a sudden he goes up to his players and tells them that, hey, I'm leaving.
Well, how it really went down was I was in the facility there. It was probably my 5th day on campus at Tennessee. I'm trying to learn the offense, get ready for spring football. I'm all excited coming in from El Camino Junior College and walk down the hallway, and I smell smoke for whatever reason. Then I get a text message that says, alert, emergency team meeting, got to be there.
Right.
As soon as I got that alert, I said, man, we just lost our head coach, all right? Because at that time, 2 other people had turned down the USC job at the moment.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin was that next rising star. He was doing some great things at Tennessee. And, yeah, at that team meeting, he walked in with his oversized trench coat and said, guys, I am leaving for USC. And then all hell broke loose in that locker room. So that was pretty interesting.
When you say all hell broke loose, because I've heard you tell this story before.
Like, dudes on the team were MFing Lane Kiffin, like, right there in front of him. They were, like, basically saying, like, F you, Lane. We don't give a damn what you're going to do.
What was it? I find this story so
it was pretty wild,
because he's experienced this before, having to look players in the face and essentially tell you, yeah, I'm walking out on you. And, I mean, how was his reaction towards it?
His reaction was how you would expect it to be. I mean, of course, he's excited for the opportunity to be the new head coach at USC, and also slightly disappointed that he's leaving a culture that he was rebuilding, reframing in the Tennessee culture that had, lost a lot of its leadership since Philip Fulmer. So it was definitely, I think, an emotional moment for him. And ultimately, he did, I think, something that was like near and dear to his heart, which was going back to California, going back to USC, which is a part of just who he is. And ultimately, that's the unfortunate part of college football.
How did that work out?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work out well, and that's why we're here now today talking about this. And I think that's what's interesting.
Like in life,
he's out of there, dude. He's gone. He's gone, man.
Well, I think you're right, but in life, you go through certain experiences that teach you a lesson for the next time. So did you learn from that to say, okay, now let me not repeat that action?
The only difference, too, I think, for the players and him involved now is that in the modern day of NIL and all that kind of stuff, players have more flexibility and room to move and shift. At that time, if I left Tennessee when he left, I would have had to potentially sat out an entire year, right? So that's where, for the young players now, they have that advantage going forward of being able to shift and move. Now, the question is, right, if you're Ole Miss, say you find out that he's leaving, do you want him coaching your football team throughout the playoffs if they are to make the playoffs? Woo! And now what does that happen? Because he's got an opportunity now to coach your football team, recruit players away from your program to potentially his next stop, right? While simultaneously building another program while you're making a run for the playoffs.
Do you guarantee me a national championship as a result?
You can't guarantee.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm athletic director, I'm saying, like, Lane, we appreciate everything you're doing. If you're moving on, you got to go now.
But
I'm saying he's not coaching my team in the playoffs.
Tennessee wanted to name a sewage plant after Lane Kiffin.
I'm sure that's not the only thing they wanted to name after.
I do remember that, and they might as well do so in Ole Miss. But you got to think about this. Violet P.
Very good.
Shout out to you because I brought you up earlier in the show. Clearly, you are cooking in the chat. But for Tennessee, think about this. You have, not Tennessee, Ole Miss. You haven't won a championship since the 1940s or whatever that may be. This is your opportunity to win one. Now, let's say Lane Kiffin does accept that job and you decide to not let him coach in the playoffs. That may affect your rankings with the College Football Playoff Committee because they say changes with not just in the players that you have in your team, but the coaches as well. We saw Jordan Travis affect the rankings of Florida State years ago.
Right.
If you lose Lane Kiffin going into the playoffs, and let's just say that they end up losing next week, some way, somehow, all of a sudden, how does the committee look at them after the Egg Bowl?
Well, I think at that point, too, Ole Miss would have to have a conversation immediately. Like, we're going way down the rabbit hole here.
We are, yeah.
But like hypothetically, let's say they do lose that game. If I'm Keith Carter, the AD at Ole Miss, do I go to Lane Kiffin and say, why don't we just push back this decision a little bit longer? Because then the committee doesn't know if he's leaving or staying.
That's true.
Like, let's take the ambiguity out of it all.
If you're late.
Would you be concerned, though, for him coaching your football team with the transfer portal right around the corner?
Yeah, that's exactly what the transfer portal opens up.
That's the other thing, too, is like, how can they also be an effective football team going forward in the playoffs while he's going to be simultaneously building a roster for another program?
So
that's what's
the
curious.
signing period for high school recruits begins in early December. We're weeks away from that, and then the transfer portal opens in early January.
Agree with this totally, right? That's a affirmative. Like, I agree with that.
At the playoffs. Integrity. And integrity matters. Terry family, we appreciate your comments, for you getting at us. And that's a conversation here why it's so fascinating with Ole Miss. Because, hey, you're in a situation to do something that this program really hasn't seen, and you could change the way that everyone looks at them going forward.
And Nick Saban said it right, dude.
Yeah.
Right? The system is flawed. It's flawed for the pros, it's flawed for college football, and it's flawed for the athletes that are doing everything that they can to make a run here, right, without knowing the future of their coach. So that's something I think is a little upsetting and that the NCAA has to correct ultimately.
Look, nobody has won more. Like, there's only two teams that have won more games than Ole Miss in the SEC over the last 6 years. I'll give you a guess as to who they are: Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Like, and then it's Ole Miss. So it is not easy to win. It has not been easy to win at Ole Miss in the past. Lane Kiffin has done that. We all await with bated breath the decision of Lane Kiffin after the Egg Bowl, which allegedly is when we will get that decision. All right, let's move it along here. Talk a little bit more about the Big 12, BYU, Cincinnati. Yeah, this one, BYU must win. Cincinnati must win as well. BYU is going to strike first here. Bear Bachmeier going to take it in himself.
Bear.
47 as the quarterback. That never gets old. Cougars up 7-0. We go to the second.
6-7. Oh.
Cincinnati has arisen. Brennan Sorsby, Matty, tell me why you're a fan of this guy.
I love this kid, man. He's a good athlete. He's got a good arm. He can throw from multiple positions, the sidearm, all that stuff. He's tough. I mean, what's not to like about the guy? The guy makes plays for them every single week.
This was not much of an offensive game here at the start. LJ Martin is going to take the ball in. He is a bowling ball himself. 1-yard touchdown. Cougars up 17-7. We're going to go to the fourth. Bearcats having some hard times moving the ball here, but Brendan Sorsby does pass through an open window. Jeff Caldwell for a 19-yard score. You can see it there. He certainly has the capabilities, and we'll see what Cincinnati does later on in this game. LJ Martin going to run it for 33 yards. That'll seal the deal for the Cougs, man. They go on to win Week 13. Stay right there in the playoff hunt, right there in good positioning for the Big 12 title race as well. They will win at 26-14.
How about LJ Martin, too, getting over 1,000 yards on the season? I think he's the 12th BYU running back to get to 1,000 yards in a season.
Wow.
So congratulations to LJ Martin on that.
Really good stuff there.
Yeah, career high 222 yards. And this is a great game by him. Big 12 title game hopes are alive for the Cougars, baby, and they could be a bid stealer come the final college football playoffs.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. And you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, Scoob. Like you say, BYU hypothetically continues to win out, and then they get to the Big 12 title game in the rematch with Texas Tech. They beat Texas Tech. Does Texas Tech have an at-large resume? And if so, who do they kick out? And you obviously mentioned Alabama there at the 10 spot.
Or maybe spot will get kicked out,
maybe whoever is at the 10 spot if Alabama wins the SEC title game. Talk a little bit more about this BYU team, because I do think that they are starting to find a little bit more of an identity. We all remember, and I think that Texas Tech game is just, kind of imprinted in our brains as to just how different those two teams are. Do you think that BYU, a second time around, Maddie, having already seen Texas Tech, can maybe scheme up a better game plan, or is that just a bad matchup for BYU point blank?
I do think it is a tough matchup for them, just because I feel like on BYU, the one weakness or the one thing I would like to see a little bit more is just Bear and the passing attack, and there's just not enough of that right now. Now, they're a really good running team. They control the tempo of the game. They play really good team defense. They're gritty as hell, and I love watching them play. But if you get a lead on BYU, that's where I feel like they are at a disadvantage, right? Because I just don't think that they can drop back and throw it consistently to get back into the football game. That's what happened against Texas Tech. They only crossed midfield twice against Texas Tech. So that's the thing. How can you create explosive plays in the running game or with gadget plays, trick plays in that way if this rematch does happen?
Yeah, I think BYU is just a really well-coached, disciplined football team. They capitalize on their opponent's mistakes. I mean, today you saw how they made multiple mistakes for Cincinnati, a couple of missed field goals and a crucial fumble that BYU took advantage of. And you brought it up, Matt, their running game, their ability to just continue to control the clock.
Yeah.
That's what they did all game. And that is good football. That is good football, mistake-free football that can help you later on down the line. But when you go against teams that are explosive and you can no longer control the pace of the game to the level in which you feel comfortable, that's where you begin to be put in some compromisable situations. And that's why I feel like they struggled against Texas Tech, because that's an explosive team.
And maybe in a neutral site, it's a little bit different, right? Texas Tech at home, big advantage. That was a rocking atmosphere that day. Totally. I mean, probably one of the biggest moments that college has seen in a long time, right? So that was all going for Texas Tech, and that's really what it's going to be. Can BYU just generate big-time plays against that defense? Because Jacob Rodriguez played phenomenal. The defensive line was all over the place. And you could just see the speed and physicality was just a little bit too much for them, right? Where there. So you see Lee Hunter there making the play. Baron Morin had some unbelievable throws in this matchup, really clutch in the low red zone area. And that's the other aspect, too. BYU let Cameron Dickey run all over them, too. So that's something, too. Like, the defense is great. There's no doubt. But Texas Tech had all the answers that day. You got to think in a rematch, neutral site, does that change, right, the way that they approach that football game? And one-off games, man, I just say, hey, BYU, have fun, cut it loose. And like Skubie says, right, go into that bag and have fun creating some plays for your guys.
A la a Brent Venables on defense against Alabama, right? Just throw the kitchen sink at him.
Throw the kitchen sink at him is right.
Because you got really nothing to lose, especially if you're BYU in that title game. All right, you guys ready to take a look at our picks? By the way, I think we have a tie. I think we have a tie on the season now.
Me.
Tie at the top.
Tie at the top. Matt, you're far behind. What are you doing down there?
Honestly, 500 is still really good.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel totally cool about it.
We're going to make some picks throughout the playoffs.
You guys are no fun with picks. You know?
Why?
I have fun. You guys are all like, I got to win, bro.
I was the only one that picked Pitt.
No, honestly, you know what happens is that like when you play for too many colleges and you feel like you got to pick
See, that's the problem. You know more than both of us combined.
And that's the thing. I keep picking Louisville and Tennessee on the wrong weeks, the weeks where they lose. That's right. So I got to actually pick them when they win.
So you're picking Michigan here, right?
What's that?
You're picking Michigan?
Hell no.
5 in a row? 5 in a row?
You know what? Honestly, I almost did pick Michigan in this one because it's like Michigan's been in a few games. They're a little bit more battle-tested to some degree, right? But, hey, I got to go with Julian Sain and the way that he's playing, and those receivers are going to be really fresh since they were off this weekend.
It's Ohio State, once again, the team that is ranked the highest that I truly don't know much about in terms of handling tough, critical situations in games. How are you going to react when you're down 4 in the fourth quarter with 2-3 minutes left or a minute and a half left? I don't know, but I'm still picking you to beat Michigan. Ohio's going to win this game.
I'm not going to save the graphic
Ryan
here.
Day finally get that win.
Not going to save the graphic. I'm going Ohio State as well. Okay. I also wonder what the health is of Ohio State's wide receivers going into this game, too.
Well, it sounds like they were just making sure that they were ready to go for this game. Right, so they just took a break.
This is their conference championship before the conference championship.
They have to win this game. Ohio State's not guaranteed that they go to the Big Ten championship. So
they didn't go last year, though. Kind of worked in their favor, right? They were pretty fresh going into the playoffs, so I don't know. But, yeah, not a strategy they want.
Another game that could very well decide if a team makes it to a conference championship is this one, Texas A&M on the road at Texas. What's so funny?
I'm yawning.
Yeah, dude yawned and realized he was on.
By the way, it's 12:20 here in
I'm leaning in my chair, yawning.
We're good.
This game decided whether or not Texas would go to a conference championship, or Texas A&M would last year as well. They lost this game. Texas A&M at Texas. Now, what do we got here?
It's different this year. I just feel like the belief in this Texas A&M football team, I'm going with Texas A&M. Marcel Reed, that defense, Cassius Howland, all that. I still think that Texas will have trouble protecting Arch in this matchup, and I feel like Elko and the boys will be ultra aggressive in making sure that they slow down that offense.
This is Marcel Reed's opportunity to take the lead in the Heisman house and solidify himself as a Heisman winner. Arch Manning coming off an incredible performance today, 6 touchdowns. But I got to go with Texas A&M over here. I just believe in the consistency of this team all season long. We've seen hot, cold from Texas. And when they've faced good competition, they have not come out on top.
I'll save the graphic here. I'll go with Texas. They have looked like a completely different team.
I can get ahead of you
at
by
home.
one win.
Yeah,
let's go.
At home, they've been a really good team. On the road, they have been pretty bad. So I'll take Texas to win this game. All right, that's going to do it for us, guys. A reminder, please tune in ESPN College Football YouTube page on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We'll have a whole new rankings reaction show as well. And we'll be back, of course, after we stuff ourselves with some turkey for next Saturday to wrap up the regular season. But for Matt, Scoob, I'm Sam. Thanks so much for watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.